Well, the first opening statement I would want to say is that breast cancer and other cancers are actually not, death sentence. We've heard from Gloria, experience, more than 10 years now, and she's still counting. We have survivors in the country, just I think 2 years ago, one of our survivors celebrated 25 years, of living with breast cancer. Why? Because it was detected very early, stage 1. The major problem we have in part of the world is that many of our patients present extremely very late. I mean, pathologists, we make diagnosis of cancers. Basically what we see in the hospital in our breast clinic are stage 3 and stage 4, advanced breast cancer. So in other words, they just come to the hospital, the best we can do is just give palliative, and which patients are the best. But compared to the Western world, where patients present very early. And why? Because they have national screening programs. But in most countries in Africa, there's no national screening programs. So people, just see breast cancer, of course, our religious beliefs also, their superstition. It's also a major problem. I was when a state, Kogi State, some years ago on medical missions, and we got there and somebody just mentioned to us that there's a woman in one room locked up, that she has something like a boy in her breast. Locked up, okay, we said, let's go there. We went there and we saw her, it was a fundamental case of breast cancer, but in that community they call it boy. And we now started, interviewing people at that scene. So, oh, her mother also died in this fashion 5 years ago. She has a boy in her breast, and that's how they managed, and she died. We did, assist her to make confirmatory diagnosis. She has advanced breast cancer. And a few weeks later, she died. So those are the major issues. Our patients present very, very late.
Is it just the fault of patients, and is it also the fault of government in terms of national screening? What about medical personnel, skilled personnel, to be able to detect and diagnose patients with breast cancer? Because you go to some health facilities where people, go and maybe when they're ill, and they don't have the facility to screen. They cannot check. So patients repeatedly go to the hospital and they are diagnosed with other kinds of ailments instead of, what the main issue is. So is it just these two factors that you have mentioned? Is that really the problem in the country?
Well, that's not the problem. As far as the human resource is concerned, I know in this country we have the capacity to manage, diagnose.
Even at the rural areas?
Well, basically in urban centers, yes, and the major issue now is the gap between the urban and the rural areas. And that is one area that we think that, we should play more active role. NCS, for example, in that kind of society, we're actively involved as CSO. That's why our campaigns, is not limited to cities. Our member organization go to rural areas, to educate the communities on easy signs, early signs of breast cancer. In the past, our concentration has been major cities, Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, Ilorin, state capitals. And majority of Nigerians, they live in the communities, in the villages, in rural communities.
But